The benefit of that, you would like, maybe you would like all of your money to come from shows, from high paying shows, but the benefit of having some students at the same time is it keeps you grounded. It keeps you, like, you keep practicing the basics with them, and you have something else to fall back upon. You know that if something goes strange with shows, you have students. If something goes strange with students, you have gigs. So you feel more stable and you stay grounded for sure, because one minute you might be playing with Arijit Singh or Preetham, and the other minute you're teaching some kid for like 1200 rupees an hour. So I would say, no matter how big and famous you get, maybe keep some students. That means you can find more, for the lack of word, you can find more elite students, but or stick with the best of your students, and call your, and don't drop your students. What you can do is, if you really start to make it in the gig scene, call your other musician friends and pass on your students to those musician friends. When you create opportunities for others, your pockets are always full. In fact, mostly you create opportunities for others when your pockets are getting full. I don't know which way it works first, but that's the idea. So let's say you start to really kill it in some one of the industries, and you want to drop some of your clients or students. Call your friends and give them those jobs. Don't let the jobs disappear into thin air where some students just stop learning, the others have to find new teachers on their own. If you do this, if you do this simple favor, or like a little bit of an effort to connect people when you're leaving a certain situation, everyone thinks of you as a, as a helpful person, and you have a chance of getting back to that opportunity if ever needed. So, leaving that out there. Now, the remaining 40%, 30% of your income that's there. So, you got 20 from teaching, 40 from gigging, or 50 from gigging, whatever your numbers may vary. You have again 30% of your income left. This 30% is what you can figure out. I would say this 30% could be coming from your YouTube, social media stuff. Like that means if you have a channel, then you put a lot of content, you have subscribers, so it's coming from there. This 30 to 40% could be coming from this 30 to 40% could be coming from sales. That means you make stuff, you put it up on online selling platforms, and that means this is money that you just do stuff once and people keep buying it. That means you make a course. This is the best part, by the way. You want to get to this bit, you want to make money from this 30 to 40%, maybe even expand this, but you want to start aiming for this. So by teaching and by gigging, your basics are covered. Now you're getting into the real juice. The real juice is, uh, let's say you shoot a course, you're a drummer, you shoot a course on how to play drums and how to teach drums, whatever, it could be anything, and you put it up on Udemy or your own website. And now, with the social media base you have, with the students and with the gigs you play, you try and sell this. You figure it out. This is where you learn how to market, this is where you learn to sell, this is where you learn how to work social media to leverage and work for you. This means that you also start working towards becoming a public figure, like a public entity that people relate with, and that doesn't have just a very small uh, audience. You're trying to continuously expand that audience by doing different things. But this last 30% is the most important. It needs to somehow start turning you into a business person. It starts turning you into a like a like it starts turning into passive income, basically. So you make your courses or you make digital content and you put it up there for free, for a small fee, for a big fee, whatever works for you, whatever you think you can do. Sorry, yeah. Okay, now, with this is the bit that I have to talk the most about. I mean, that's why this podcast might just be like two parts, or it might just be 20 minutes. So I think I'll chop it off and we'll make it 20 minutes. We'll make it podcast 3 part 1 and podcast 3 part 2. This last bit is something that I did not even think about until maybe 6 months back, or I did not really work on it in coronavirus situation until the coronavirus situation hit us. But my friends, my smart friends, were doing this, and a lot of YouTubers and a lot of people were doing this. So this 30 to 40% is content creation. It is maybe doing extra things on the side. So let's say you're a live gigging musician making some part of your income from playing shows. This 30 or 40% comes from uh, arranging tunes or mixing a track sometimes, producing a song for somebody. It could be these kind of jobs. These are additional skills that you can pivot on. And also the thing is, you're not putting eggs in one basket, not just in terms of like money or gigs, or different kind of jobs that are available, but what you're doing is that you're putting your skills in different baskets also. So eventually you want to branch out and have multiple skills. And one thing I've learned is that um, should you be like a generalized person, or should you be an expert person? What I learned from Tim Ferriss is that uh, it's great if you can combine expertise in maybe two or three things that are not normally combined. That means, I mean, if you are, let's say, a doctor who's also a musician, and then maybe you're like an ortho doctor, then you have this special skill that musicians come to you, the high level musicians. I'm just saying, in not maybe not in this country, but this actually happens outside. That there would be specific doctors who are known to be musicians, but they help musicians with the issues because they understand musicians' lifestyles, injuries, physical stuff, mental stuff, whatever. So I'm just saying it could be anything, any of the two aspects of your life. Maybe you're combining being an accountant or a CA or an MBA with also being an expert with music, or being a strong musician. So how do you do this? It's up to you to figure out. But the idea is to combine your skills. Maybe you're a drummer who can also produce or mix a track. Maybe you are a voice teacher who can also do voice over work. So this is the stuff that I'm talking about. So these things can relate with each other. You will see that smart people are doing this. So the last 30, maybe even 40, and you can make this 50% of your income eventually, because as you get older, as you're hitting like 55, you will go back to teaching more maybe, and you might go back to this third segment of your income more. I mean, you will still gig, but as you hit 60, do you think you will be gigging as much? Well, if you have great physical health, you may do it. But the thing with gigging is that if you don't go to a gig, if you cannot make a gig, let's say you have a surgery next month and 1 month is like surgery preparation, you may not be able to go to the show. Or if you like, this happens when you get old, you might have a surgery to go into, or like some kind of a treatment. And what if your knees need replacement? And when your knees need replacement, you cannot go and tour for the next year or 6 months, something, right? 4 months. What do you do in those 4 months? This is when this helps. Or, in fact, this helps you the whole time. But I'm talking about the worst case scenario sort of shit out there. And that's the whole idea. All right. I hope this helps. These were the three main things. There are more ways to make money. We will talk about those maybe some other time. There's a lot to like discuss and put it out there. So I'm just gonna call it for now. This is how you make money, and this is what I would do. And this is what, in fact, I'm doing all over again. I'm setting up the three streams for me, and maybe there are more streams, but I don't want to do too many things at the same time. Just two or three is enough. In fact, I'm not even gigging anymore. So I've taken away that 50% or 40% of my income, and I'm trying to get that from something else. So that's there, which is simple. Where I'm getting it from is making songs and producing content. And I've like, I have gone ahead and gotten myself a diploma in audio engineering, which is not necessary. You can learn everything that I've learned in a diploma through like YouTube or studying it yourself. But yeah, going to a decent course in a college does help you slam it all together in 1 year. Otherwise, it would take you maybe a couple of years to figure it out. Okay, this is another podcast. Should you go to music audio engineering college or not? All right, guys, this is it for now. Ciao.